If you think the Gold Coast is just surfers' paradise and theme parks, you're about to miss the places most visitors don't even realize are there. I'm Annie, and I've just spent 3 days exploring the Gold Coast beyond surfers' paradise. From tranquil beaches and epic hinterland waterfalls to hidden brunch spots and the coastal walks that locals love. There's one thing I discovered here that I'm genuinely gutted I didn't know about sooner, because I had no idea this even existed. With just 3 days on the Gold Coast, we're starting in the south for laid-back beaches, hidden cafes, and epic coastal views. But before we hit our first location, you need to understand the Gold Coast split. The coastline here stretches over 50 kilometers and is basically split into two completely different experiences. The north is where you'll find surfers' paradise, main beach, the high-rises, the nightlife, and the theme parks. If you want that resort holiday vibe with rooftop bars and action-packed days, that's your spot. It's buzzing, it's busy, and honestly, it's what most people picture when they think Gold Coast. But the south, from Burleigh heads to Palm Beach and Coolangatta, is where the real magic happens. It's laid back, it's local, and it's all about surf culture and national parks. This is where Gold Coast locals actually live. And that's exactly why we're starting day one in Burleigh Heads. It has this village vibe that gives you the I could actually live here feeling. So let me show you what that looks like when you first arrive. First, just look at this place. You've got the iconic pine trees, that famous point break, and the headland wrapping around the corner. It feels completely different to surfers' paradise. It's greener, it's cooler, and this is where the surf culture really lives. You can literally smell sunscreen and fresh coffee on the sea breeze. Half the people walking past are barefoot with sand still on their ankles, even when they're ducking into cafes. But don't head straight to the water just yet. I want to show you the village side first, because this is where the locals are actually hiding out. Head to James Street, a tiny strip of boutiques, arcades and cafes with this really easy barefoot luxury vibe. You can hear the ocean at the end of the road, but everyone's here lingering over coffee. Grab a flat white from Social Brew or Canteen, because you're going to want that coffee in hand for what we're doing next. Caffeine sorted, but we haven't seen the view yet, and the spot we're walking to next is arguably the best skyline view in all of Queensland. And it's the one place you can see both sides of the Gold Coast split in a single shot. And this is it. Burleigh Hill is basically the locals' living room. On a Sunday afternoon, this grassy slope is packed with picnics, acoustic guitars, and everyone watching the surfers roll in. But don't get too comfortable on the grass just yet, because while this skyline view is iconic, it's actually only the second best view on this headland. And to get to the best one, we're going to have to work for it. This is the Burleigh Headland National Park entrance. You can take the ocean view track that wraps around the bottom, or the Rainforest circuit that climbs up through the hill. Most tourists take the lower trail because it looks easier, but if you want the real payoff, take the Rainforest circuit. It's only about a 15-minute walk, but it takes you past ancient volcanic rock formations and rainforest meeting the sea. Keep your eyes peeled as you go. If you're lucky, you might even spot koalas snoozing up in the trees. But the real reason we took the high road is for this, Tumgun lookout. Remember that skyline view we just had looking north? From here, you're looking south, over Tallebudgera Creek, Palm Beach, and all the way down towards Coolangatta. From June to October, this turns into one of the best natural grandstands on the coast, with migrating whales cruising by along the humpback highway. But staring down at that ridiculous blue water from up here is kind of torture if you don't get to jump in. So we're going to hike down the other side, because that crystal clear creek you can see right there, that is exactly where we're spending the next couple of hours. Welcome to Tallebudgera Creek, or as the locals call it, Tally. Here, the breakwater keeps the water flat, crystal clear, and usually a few degrees warmer than the ocean. It's going to feel like a spa day. You could easily just float around here on a paddleboard and grab lunch at the custard canteen behind the beach. And honestly, no one would blame you if you stayed all afternoon. But if you're like me and you want to squeeze every last drop out of this coastline, don't stop here. This is where day one turns into a little coastal road trip. Just 5 minutes down the road are 2 more beach towns. Jump in the car or grab the 700 bus and head further south. First stop, Currumbin. This place has that barefoot, old-school surf village vibe. The highlight is the alley, where the creek meets the ocean, famous for gentle, rolling waves and longboards. But we're not stopping yet, because if you keep driving until you hit the state border, you'll find my favorite spot on the entire coast, Coolangatta. And the main reason you come here is Snapper Rocks, home of the Superbank, one of the most famous surf breaks on the planet. Even if you don't surf, Walking out onto the rocks to watch the pros ride waves that run for hundreds of meters is absolutely hypnotic. Now, if discovering new places all over Australia and beyond sounds like your kind of adventure, don't forget to subscribe. So we've done the hike, we've swum in the creek, and we've watched the surf legends at the very end of the coast. To finish day one properly, we're looping back to where we started, because there's only one thing missing from this perfect Southside itinerary: the sunset. And there's one iconic venue back in Burleigh, right on the water's edge, that has the perfect angle for it. But you'll need to get there early to snag a seat. And this is it. If you've seen a photo of the Gold Coast on Instagram, there's a good chance it was taken right here under these white umbrellas at Burleigh Pavilion. Now, full disclosure, this is not a hidden gem. It's probably the most popular sunset spot on the coast, and for good reason. It's built directly on the rocks, so close to the ocean that on a high tide, you can sometimes feel the spray. The vibe is electric, loud, busy, and the people watching is 10 out of 10. But before you just wander in, you need to know how things work here. The venue's split in two. On the left is the Tropic, a full-service restaurant, bookings needed. We're heading right to the terrace, the casual side, with wood-fired pizzas and the best views. Get here around 4, grab a table near the edge, order a wood-fired pizza and a local Bolter beer, and just wait. As the sun drops behind the mountains, you watch surfers catch their last waves, while the lights of Surfers' Paradise slowly flicker on in the distance. It's the perfect end to the chill side of the Gold Coast. But as good as this feels, tomorrow I'm taking you inland, to waterfalls, treetop walks, and a little mountain hideaway that, if I came back, is honestly the first place I'd book. But before we chase waterfalls and those mountain views, grab a takeaway coffee and start day 2 with your feet in the sand with a beach walk towards North Burleigh. If you head out around 6:30 a.m, you've got this long stretch of sand mostly to yourself, a few locals walking their dogs, early bird surfers paddling out, and that soft pink and gold sky starting to glow over the water. It's really simple, but it sets the tone for the whole day. You can just do a gentle 20 minutes along the shoreline, or follow the path up to the North Burleigh lookout for that proper wow view, back towards Surfers' Paradise and Burleigh Headland. Standing up there with your coffee, looking back over everywhere you explored on day 1, is one of those moments I could definitely get used to. Either way, you're getting your beach fix in early, because it's time to swap sand for Rainforest. We're jumping in the car and heading around 45 minutes inland to our first hinterland stop. Cedar Creek Falls is a string of waterfalls and natural rock pools tucked into a little gorge on Tamborine Mountain. As you walk in, the whole vibe changes. The harsh coastal sun drops away. It's cooler and quieter, and you're surrounded by gum trees, big boulders, and that constant rush of water. You get this first big lookout over the main falls, and if there's been a bit of rain, it properly pours over the rock face. But the real magic is further down. Follow the path into the gorge, and you'll find a series of pools where people are swimming, sunbaking on the rocks, kids jumping in, and families set up with picnics. It's one of those places where you can easily lose a couple of hours just swimming, hopping between different pools, and soaking in the fact that this is still the Gold Coast, just not the version most people ever see. And the contrast keeps getting better, because just up the road this mountain flips again, from wild rock pools into a little mountain town that feels a world away from the beach you woke up on. Just a few minutes drive and you hit Gallery Walk, one main strip of cute cottages, local art, wineries and fudge shops. It honestly feels more like a little European village than anything you'd expect near the Gold Coast. My advice here is simple: don't rush and don't try to do it all. Give yourself about an hour to wander one side of the street, dip into a couple of galleries, pick one wine or fudge stop, grab a coffee and something sweet, and just notice how different the pace feels up here. If you've got even a tiny bit of garden envy, swing by the Tamborine Mountain Botanic Gardens just around the corner. It's all shady rainforest paths, little bridges and a calm lake, the kind of place you wander through for 20 minutes and suddenly realize you've dropped your shoulders about 3 notches. Just don't get too comfy, because Tamborine has one more side to show you today, and the next stop is where things start to feel properly wild again, in the best possible way. If there's one place up here that feels like you've walked straight onto a rainforest movie set, it's Curtis Falls. From the road it doesn't look like much, but as you drop down the track the light changes, the air gets cooler and you start to hear this low roar in the distance. The path winds through ferns and towering trees, and then suddenly you're on this little viewing platform, looking straight at a curtain of white water dropping into a deep green pool. It feels properly wild, but it's still really easy to get to, which is exactly why I love it as a mid-afternoon stop on day 2. Give yourself a few extra minutes here just to listen to the water, grab those wide rainforest shots, and let your brain catch up with how far you feel from the Gold Coast Strip. But don't put the camera away yet, because the next walk takes you literally up into the treetops. And if you only pay for one thing in the hinterland, make it this. The Tamborine Rainforest Skywalk is one of the most dramatic things you can do up here, and the effort it takes is almost nothing compared to how it feels. You start off thinking, okay, nice little forest walk, and then suddenly, you're out on these steel bridges suspended in the treetops. The temperature drops, it gets a bit darker, and you've got that layered rainforest soundtrack. Birds, insects, wind in the leaves, all happening underneath your feet instead of around you. Every few steps, the perspective shifts. One moment you're looking straight down to the creek, the next you're eye level with branches that usually sit way above your head. And the cantilever is the highlight. It just juts out over the valley with nothing underneath, so you really get that sensation like you're hanging over the rainforest. Give yourself about 45 minutes here so you're not rushing the shots or the experience. And don't head off just yet, because right near the Skywalk, I stumbled on a mountain spa resort that I was genuinely kicking myself for not knowing about sooner. Tamborine Mountain Glades feels like you've stumbled into your own little rainforest sanctuary. Huge trees, creeks running through, little bridges, birds everywhere. It's one of those places where the stress just melts away the moment you arrive. If you want to stay overnight, you've got contemporary hillside rooms, self-contained forest lodges with spa baths, and premium glamping tents, or vista suites with decks looking straight into the trees, wrapped in nature but with all your creature comfort. Then you can wander creekside trails, book spa treatments, or throw yourself into the Canyon Flyer zipline and treetop challenge. Plus, there's a restaurant and bar on site. If I'd known about this place sooner, I'd have completely altered my Gold Coast plans and built in a splurge night up here in the rainforest. If this sounds like your kind of upgrade, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to make an alternative itinerary for this trip, including a luxury night here. And if you want to check it out now, there's a link in the description with more details and pricing for Tamborine Mountain Glades. Tamborine Mountain is really just one slice of the Gold Coast hinterland. If you're happy to drive a bit further, Lamington National Park is where it starts to feel properly wild. Think deep, mossy rainforest trails and big waterfall days at spots like Elabana Falls, Shalan Falls and the roaring Larapinta Falls. Springbrook National Park is your other standout option, a full-on waterfall playground with everything from the long Worry circuit to shorter hits like Twin Falls and the magical Natural Bridge. So if you fall in love with today's hinterland vibes, just know you've still got plenty more to come back for. After a full day getting lost in the Gold Coast hinterland, it's time to head back to the coast. Because for your final day here, there is still so much this place has to offer. Treat this as your pick your perfect ending day and choose one or two big experiences that match your energy rather than trying to cram everything in. If you just want to exhale and lean into a proper beach day, Surfers Paradise and Broad Beach are easy and lively, while Burleigh Beach, Pond Beach and Coolangatta give you that softer, more local feel. If you're an animal lover, Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary is the simple way to tick off those only in Australia wildlife moments. Or maybe this is the day you finally book a surf lesson or go all in on the big theme parks for full throttle, leave at sunset with messy hair and too many photos vibes. If it were me though, I'd do something a bit different and head up to Gold Coast Wake Park in Oxenford. It's about a 20 to 25 minute drive inland, and it's such a fun way to spend half a day. Instead of going out on a boat, you're pulled around a lake on a cable system with beginner and advanced tracks. You can wakeboard, wake skate or start on a kneeboard if you're brand new. They provide all the gear, give you a safety briefing and some quick coaching before you hit the water. Even if you don't nail it first go, it's hilarious. You're in the sun, and it turns into one of those stories you end up talking about for the rest of the trip. I'd allow a few hours here to ride a couple of sessions and chill out by the lake. It's brilliant for groups or couples. Some people can ride while others relax and watch the wipeouts from the shore. If you've done the beaches, dipped into the rainforest, and you're looking for one last only on the Gold Coast moment, make Gold Coast Wake Park your grand finale to these 3 perfect days. If you've still got time up your sleeve in Queensland after the Gold Coast, this is where things get really exciting. Head about an hour down the coast to Byron Bay. Think laid-back surf town energy, sunrise at the lighthouse, coastal walks with dolphins offshore, and that slightly bohemian, I could stay here for weeks feeling. Or jump on a direct train or drive up to Brisbane, one of Australia's most vibrant cities. If sunrise river walks and sunset rooftop bars, urban beaches and bridge climbing adventures, and a secret island sounds like your style, you'll want to watch this video next. With that said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.